What is going on here?
Well, I certainly didn't expect this. Man City have been caught breaking rules apparently, and apparently they'll be expelled from the league, or they'll be given a point deduction, or their titles are going to be stripped. So, what's actually happening? Well, Man City have been charged with 101 breaches of the financial rules of the Premier League, and the Premier League are basically saying that Man City didn't give the records an utmost faith, like they weren't faithful. I feel like there was some under accounting things, basically very similar to what Juventus got charged for, and it looks like Man City is going through utter turmoil right now. I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta is happy. Here's Arteta knowing that Man City is going to be out of the title race now. But what does it actually mean for Manchester City? Well, it means that a lot of the players are going to be sold. It's like a whole. This is basically doomsday scenario for Man City. Here's Joao Cancelo knowing that he has gotten out of the sinking ship that is Manchester City, and yeah, it looks like many players will leave. Obviously, as a Dortmund fan, I really want Haaland to return. I want Haaland to return to Dortmund. Gundogan, especially as a Dortmund fan, watching him play was something else. Even Sergio Gomez, to a certain extent, like I feel like we didn't give him the chance he deserved at Dortmund. And when he went to Anderlecht, he was sublime at left back. So I feel like if we get him instead of Benzabaini, I feel like it would be a nice little like Dortmund synergy. We could still get Benzabaini, but Gomez could be like. Let's talk about expulsion from the league. Now, there are two types to this: expulsion from the Premier League and expulsion from the Football League as a whole, which is they'll be excluded from even taking part in League 2, which is I cannot imagine Erling Haaland being okay with a trip to Wrexham away. And yeah, if they get expelled from the league, which is unlikely in my opinion, it is gonna be crazy. Like, obviously, they can't keep all of their players if they get expelled from the league. Many of them will leave. And forget about European competitions. I don't think they'll even qualify for one. So I don't think the players would like to stay around just to play like 4th, 5th division football or 2nd division football, depending on what the penalty is. So there'll be a mass exodus. Now there will be certain players who are very loyal to City and they will stay, but that's gonna be very rare. Like even with Juventus, when they went only to like the tier below them, a lot of players left. So and that was Juventus, like a very historic club who has won Champions Leagues in the past. Man City have basically zero history up until the takeover. Like all of their titles, most of the titles are coming after the takeover. So it's gonna be hard keeping players if they are delegated down to the Championship or the 5th tier. Now the next one, which is also unlikely, which is gonna be stripping away titles. Now stripping away titles basically means they are not going to be Premier League champions anymore. So the Balotelli, the Aguero moment is gonna be completely useless. The pinnacle, like the most goosebumps giving moment in footballing history even, is not gonna be there. And even in the 13-14 season, the Gerrard slip, the iconic Gerrard slip, is not gonna matter anymore because Manchester City wouldn't have won the title then. Liverpool would have won the title. And speaking of that, Manchester United would be 3-time Premier League champions. They would have 3 more Premier Leagues. And Liverpool as well. They'll have 3 more. And if this extends to like the cup competitions, Aston Villa would have won a League Cup despite getting peppered 4-0 in the final. And Watford would have won a major trophy despite getting battered 6-0. What are you giving? Hell, even Tottenham would have won a trophy. Tottenham would have won a trophy with Ryan Mason. Ryan Mason actually winning a trophy for Tottenham. And this also means Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Brendan Rodgers, and Jose Mourinho are gonna be collecting their winners' medals. Lucas Leiva is the Premier League champion, or Alexis Sanchez, Bruno Fernandes, And if this extends to European competitions, well, they are still gonna have the same amount of UCLs as they have. I don't think USA is gonna strip them off. They still have that nice little zero on their sleeves. And if they replay matches, I want the 2021 U quarterfinal to be replayed because we have been utterly robbed. You're telling me we could have beat PSG, beat Chelsea, a very beatable teams with the squad we had and the momentum we had, and won the Champions League if Man City had been reprimanded. Like, just a reminder, lads, if Man City's UEFA ban wasn't overturned, Dortmund would have been potential UCL winners. We would have 2 more UCLs than Man City. But now we don't. Yeah, and our games with them this season, we need all the points we get. Like all the 5 points we lost against them, we need that back. We need that back. And I feel like it is a bit unfair to Man City because compared to like Chelsea, for example, Man City have done better business. Man City have done better business compared to Chelsea. So I feel like they are really cracking down, especially I think they're starting in Manchester City to show Chelsea, you look, we are literally gonna charge Man City with something just so you guys know. So I feel like they're kind of like warning Chelsea, like we can also come down and crack down on you lot. And now I'm gonna move on to the next one. It is points deductions. I feel like this is the most likely like harsh outcome, and I feel like they won't really deduct much. They will only deduct like 15 points, which will keep them in about 8th place. So they'll be only 8th, which means for Brighton will be 5 points away from Tottenham in 4th. Now you might say it's 5 points, but they have 2 games in hand. 2 games. So Roberto De Zerbi is doing such a job that they can easily win those 2 games. Imagine if they win those 2 games, get into the Champions League. Bottle him, yeah? Bottle him. I don't want Tottenham in the UCL again. Give me Brighton. Give me Arsenal. Give me Newcastle. It's gonna be fun, you know? And I really don't want Liverpool to make it. I don't want Chelsea. I love Klopp. I really love Klopp, but I really don't want to see him. Like, honestly, I don't want to see him again in the UCL because it's such a nice feeling knowing that you can see Fulham or Brighton or Newcastle or Arsenal back in the Champions League. Like Arsenal back in the Champions League, obviously. Like Brighton and Hove Albion in the Champions League. Imagine Solly March singing the Champions League anthem at the Camp Nou. That'll be just I'm just excited about it. Obviously, I had to wear the Leicester shirt because you know it's kind of good. It's like kind of relevant. And what is my thoughts on this? My thoughts are they are gonna get away with it. They're gonna get away with it fine. Come on, I mean it's Manchester City you're talking about. Manchester City are probably just gonna hire Saul Goodman of the UK or something, and they'll get away with it. Lads, in a country where Mason Greenwood and Benjamin Mendy have basically been let go, despite all the evidence there is against those two, it's basically confirmed that Man City will get away with it. Like the system is already messed up, so yeah, they are just gonna get away with a fine, and it's probably not even gonna be that high. It's gonna be like 15 million or something, which compared to the 1 billion they have spent on transfers is genuinely sickening. And I really want the Premier League to become more like Serie A, where Juventus could easily have gone from basically kind of challenging Napoli bit to now potentially by getting points deductions to the point that they are relegated. Like now there's a talk of 20-point deduction, which will take their total down to 3 points, which means that they'll be in the relegation zone just above Cremonese. I don't even think Cremonese will be below them. I think they'll be level on points with them or something, because even Cremonese have 6 draws. They have 0 wins. So imagine those 11 wins getting taken away for no away. That's how strict Serie A is. And I cannot imagine the Premier League being that strict, but they have to. So, you're wondering, what the hell am I doing in a different shirt now? Well, as you saw, I was gonna make a Man City video, but while I was editing, the whole Super League fiasco basically started up again. Now, I'm gonna title this video F1 silly season. I mean football silly season off of F1. So here we go. The Super League is back, and now it is basically like the current Champions League. I don't know what they're doing, but apparently it will now consist anywhere from 60 to 80 teams. It'll be divided up within 4 divisions. You still play in your national league, and you qualify based on how you do in that national league. And there are no permanent members. The money is going to be split equally, and it's just going to be, yeah, they are going to split the money equally, and they are not going to have like a whole bunch of perks for the for any permanent members, because there aren't any. Now I'm pretty sure this won't happen, but the Super League is inevitable, don't get me wrong, but this proposal right here will never happen because of the fact that UEFA exists. But unlike last time, where I clearly made a video voicing out my oppositions with this like Super League, I'll play a clip from that right there.
Every single thing I'm going to, they are basically comparing this to when the Champions League happened. At least the Champions League, you had to qualify for it. You qualified based off of merit.
And unlike that video where I was very much against this Super League, this new format doesn't really seem that bad. In fact, it actually seems better than what the UEFA is going to do with the Champions League, because Champions League is going to receive a huge it's just going to be changed. The format is going to be changed, and if you lot don't know when it's happening next year. Yes, at the end of next season, the next season's Champions League is going to be the last ever Champions League to use the current format with 32 teams, 8 groups, and then like that. The next Champions League 2024-25 will introduce a Swiss model where there are 36 teams with 4 new spots going as it goes. Two of the spots will go through like the 5th and 6th leagues of the UEFA coefficients, which I think it's Liga and Eredivisie. I'm not really sure, but it'll go to those leagues. And the other 2 spots, these 2 spots are the ones that are most controversial, because this will be going to the best team with the best UEFA coefficients who didn't finish in the Champions League groups. Essentially, it's a one-way ticket to the Champions League for the clubs who are absolutely rotten in a particular year. So for example, let's take Chelsea for example. Chelsea are absolutely awful. The time I'm recording this right now, we are actually going to be playing them in the Champions League, and it's very split. I mean, Dortmund obviously is not that huge of a team as Chelsea, but Chelsea are playing very badly. Like, compare Dortmund and Chelsea. Dortmund are 60 games unbeaten in 2023. Chelsea have won once. They haven't won an away game in a long time. And you're gonna have that mess, that shit box of a team in the Champions League just because they were like good enough few years ago. With these rules, right, Arsenal in their banter era would have made the Champions League. Arsenal Football Club in the Champions League during the banter era. You could have still had Unai Emery sticking this team in 16th and they would have still qualified. Like Liverpool would make this new Champions League if it was put in. And remember, this is happening next year. This doesn't aim to create good football. This only aims to hurt the smaller teams. Like, you could have Brighton making it in, but they will look at Liverpool finishing 10th and still getting up in the Champions League and being like, hey, why isn't that for us? Brighton could realistically make the Champions League, see what's happening, and be like, this is unfair. And so I do feel like it's like the tides are shifted, but I do still think that Super League is going to be very bad. It's obviously going to increase the commercialization of the sport. I really don't know how to feel about this. Like, will they still keep the matches in Europe? Because as much as I would like to see Borussia Dortmund play in India, and I very much would like to visit a match if they play in India, I really don't want it to be a Champions League match. Like, I'm good enough seeing my team's jersey on the pitch playing an actual match representing the organization Borussia Dortmund. That's all I need. I don't want the actual Dortmund team playing a do or die match against Manchester United in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, lads. I don't want that. I'm very much content with seeing a friendly Dortmund team with like Daniel Mahlen and Felix Paslak, Stefan Dralka in goal. I'm happy with that. I I don't want the fans in Dortmund to suffer. I don't want the fans in Dortmund to suffer just so that I can enjoy. Right? I might have worded it very badly. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're wondering what video I'm watching is by Struggle Meals. It's about Struggle Meals by One Cloud 9. Great video. I recommend you watch it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the Super League and the whole football silly season going on. This is a different type of video. I'll have it out by the start of the Champions League. So see you all in the next Dortmund Recap. Goodbye.